surah. When we go into the background of this surah, we find there is a hadith which has been recorded by Imam Muslim in his Sahih, wherein Rasul sallallahu alaihi wasallam told us of a major incident that took place in Bani Israel. So this is before the advent of Rasul alayhi salam. So what had happened was uh, the king of Yemen, he had a magician, a sahir, a person who would do magic, sihr, or what we commonly call as jadoo. So he became old and he requested to the king that I have become old and fragile and weak, so I need you to send me a young boy as a student who can learn from me magic and who can help you protect your kingdom, and he can become the next magician, the next sahir of the kingdom. Now you have to bear in mind that this was before the Prophet of Allah in the country of Yemen, wherein shirk was the religion, meaning polytheism, wherein the king believed himself to be the God. The king, he said that he is the ilah, he is the ma'bud, he should be worshipped. So anyone that would oppose him and that would say that there is another God besides you, just like Fir'aun, then they would be killed by the king. So anyway, when he made this request to the king that I need a boy, a young boy who will come to me, a young boy was then selected. A talented young boy was selected to learn sihr, to learn magic from this particular magician, the magician of the king. As you know, he would make his uh, journey, his travel every day to the sahir, to the magician from his home. On the way, on the path, there happened to be a Christian, a righteous Christian monk, a rahib. And this rahib, he was he was a Nasrani, he was a Christian, and a genuine Christian, a proper Christian, which means that he believed in Allah, he believed in Akhirah, he believed in Jannah, Jahannam, and he believed in Isa alayhi salam to be but a messenger and a servant of Allah. So he was a proper Christian who believed in the proper teachings and the correct teachings of Jesus or of Isa alayhi salam. So this boy, as he would pass by, he would see this monk, reciting from Injil, or reciting, from some of the teachings of Isa alayhi salam. So this kind of intrigued him, and he was amazed to what he had to say and what he had to teach, because he had a small, majlis, small people surrounding him. So as he would routinely go to attend the lesson of the magician, on his way he would stop and sit in the gathering, in the dars, in the lesson of the rahib, the monk, the Christian man, and he would listen to what he had to say, and he would practice on that. After that was done, then he would go to the magician and go learn sihr, magic. This continued for some time. Then came a point where the magician, he would punish and he would discipline the boy for being late to his class. Because of course you have to know that what's halting him, what's keeping him behind, is the other class of the monk, because he would sit in his class, in his gathering. So if he had to attend, for example, 10 o'clock at the lesson of the magician, then he would be sitting from 10 to 10:30 by the monk, and then 10:30 he would arrive, or he would leave to attend the teachings or the class of the magician. So he shared this problem with his teacher, with the religious monk, with the Christian monk. He then told him that if any time the magician, your other teacher, he tells you or he intends to, discipline you for being late, tell him that, I got late because of my family. I had some errands to run, some things to, catch up with in my family. So that's why I'm late. And whenever you happen to be late by your family, because if you come to me, then you're going to be delayed by the monk, then you're going to be delayed to go back home. So your mother, your father could question you that class ends at 11, for example. Why are you here at 11:30? So tell them that the magician had a longer class today. The lecture was, more in depth. So because of that, I got delayed. This continued for some time until uh, a small incident took place. There happened to be a lion that had, stopped all the people from proceeding. So this lion was, in the general pub in the road, and people were afraid to walk. People were afraid to, proceed. So everyone stopped. As he had observed this kid, this young boy, he took a pebble. He took a pebble and he said, "Oh Allah, I go to the Rahib, the monk, and he tells me, you are one. You are my deity, you are my Rabb. I go to the magician and he teaches me of sihr, and he tells me the king is the God. I am confused. I am confused. My heart inclines towards the monk. So if the monk is correct, the Christian monk, if my first teacher is correct, that you are one, you have no partners, then I ask you that with the power, with your power, with this rock, you kill the lion. And if he is fake and the magician happens to be true, then don't kill it, leave it as is." So he throws the rock at the beast, at the lion, and with the qudrah of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the lion dies there instantly. That is when he was convinced beyond speck of doubt, beyond any, a doubt, that the monk is haqq. He is true, and his teachings are true. What he is preaching about is correct, and Allah is one. He then went the next day to his ustad, to his teacher, the monk, and he shared with him this incident. He shared with him that, yesterday I was passing by the main road, and there was a lion that had, stopped and caused, panic and fear for all the public there. And I took a rock and I said to Allah that, "Oh Allah, if the monk is on haqq, he is on the truth, then kill this beast. And if he is not on the haqq, on the truth, then leave it as is. Don't kill it." And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala killed it. When he had heard this, he said to him, "Ay bunay, anta al-yawm afdalu minni," that, "Oh my son, today you have exceeded me. You have, you have become superior to me. You have excelled. You have gone way beyond my limitations and my reach. But let me remind you, وَإِنَّكَ سَتُبْتَلَى." Now, because Allah has given you such a high status, He's going to test you. You're going to be tested. People are going to, come to your door and see if they can shake you from your deen. So stay on this deen. You have seen what is haqq. You know that Isa alayhi salam is the Nabi of Allah. And by the way, don't mention my name to anyone. Don't mention that whatever you believe in, whatever you know, whatever you have acquired is from me. Just keep me anonymous. Now, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala had granted this young boy a gift, a miracle. What was the miracle? The miracle was he was able to cure all types of diseases and illness. Whether a person is blind, whether a person suffered from leprosy, whether a person was paralyzed, whatever sickness, things, diseases that were not curable in his time, this boy, with the help of Allah, with the permission of Allah, was able to ask Allah, make dua to Allah, and Allah would give the patient, the sick patient, shifa and cure. The minister of the king happened to be blind. He happened to be blind. So he came and he approached this young boy and he brought to him a lot of gifts, expensive gifts. And he said, I heard that, you are able to cure people. You are able to cure people from anyone who is blind, anyone who is suffering from leprosy or any serious illness. So can you cure me? So the boy said, I don't cure. Allah cures. I am just a means. I am but a means and a sabab, a reason for the shifa. I am a medium to your cure, to your remedy. The being that cures is Allah. If you believe in Allah to be one, then I can help you and I can make dua to Allah that He will cure you. So I don't cure, Allah cures. The minister says, yes, definitely I believe whatever you preach. And this Allah you talk about, okay, I believe in Him to be my Rabb. And I forsake my previous religion, which was wherein he believed the king to be the God, as the Ilah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala granted him shifa and he gained his eyesight. He, the minister, went back to the king, and the king observed that this minister is now, he can see. He is no longer blind. And he asked him that, who did this to you? Who cured you? He said, Allah did. Allah, who is Allah? Allahu Rabbi. Allah is my Rabb. Who taught you about Allah? The young boy who comes to learn magic from your person, from your magician. So then the king summoned the boy and he said, oh, young boy, you have become so talented in your magic that, wow, you can now cure people who are blind. The king said this to the boy, that you have become so talented and you have excelled in magic, in sihr, that now you can cure the blind. So he then refused and he said, no, I don't believe in magic. Magic is kufr, it is disbelief. I believe in Allah to be my God and to be your God. This enraged the king. He said, Alaka Rabbun ghayr, you believe in someone else to be your God besides me? He said, yes. They did some investigation and then they found out that the teacher of this boy was a monk. He was summoned in the presence of the king. The king threatened him and he said that forsake your religion and believe in me to be your Rabb, to be your God, then I will spare your life. The monk said, no. Allah is my Rabb, la sharika lah. He has no partner. Then an axe was brought and it was placed at the center of his head and he was split and cut into two. A shaheed, a martyr. Then the king brought the minister in front and he said, I'm happy that you got your eyesight, but forsake this being whom you call Allah to be your Rabb and believe in me. The minister said, no, Allah is my Rabb. He did the same thing with him, what he did with the monk, and he, killed him. The king then ordered some of his men to take the young boy to the top of the mountain and to ask him if he is willing to forsake Islam, his religion. If he does so, good, bring him back. If he denies, then throw him from the cliff of the mountain. Throw him from the peak of the mountain. 3, 4 men, adult, take this young boy to the peak of the mountain, and as they intend to throw him, he makes dua to Allah, Allahumma kfinihim bima shi'ta, that, oh Allah, you help me against them in whatever design, whatever fashion you see befitting. The mountain shook, an earthquake happened. Before they could kill the boy, a boulder fell from on top of the mountain and killed all the adults, all the men that had apprehended him and that wanted to kill him. He came back safe and sound, walking in front of the king. The king was amazed and he was stunned and he was, spellbounded that what happened to my men? He then said, Allah took care of them. Allah took care of them. He became furious and he said, what do you mean Allah took care of them? He then ordered some other men and he said to them that take this boy to the center of the ocean and tell him to forsake his religion. If he doesn't, then throw him and let him drown in the ocean, in the sea. They took him, and as they reached the center, he made dua to Allah that, oh Allah, you help me against them in whatever way you desire. There was a wave that came and it sunk all the other men besides him. He came back safe to the shore, to the king, and he said, the king is again amazed that what happened. He is stunned. He has no words. He is stuttering. He said, where are my men? He then said, Allah took care of them. The king said, then how can I kill you? You are destroying my men. The boy said, if you want to really kill me, there is only one way. There is only one way. That is, you have to take one of my arrow from my, milkiya, from my property. And you have to shoot at me saying, in the name of Allah, who is the Rabb of this young boy. You have to take my arrow from my quiver and you have to say, I shoot in the name of Allah, who is the Rabb of this boy, and you have to gather all the people of your kingdom so that they could witness what you do. A day was fixed wherein the king had made an announcement that all the people come. That so and so day, I will be shooting an arrow at this, fake miraculous healer, as he calls himself. And you will see how I end him. And this will be the end and the result of all those that deny me. Meaning, if you believe in Allah, then watch how I kill this person who believes in Allah, this young boy. Tens and thousands of people gathered. Thousands of people gathered to watch this young boy. People were, confused that why is this king so helpless and so desperate that he needs to kill this boy in a certain fashion, in a certain way? Why can't he just tell his men to lock him up in the jail and just, kill him? So this intrigued them that, we need to go see. As that day approached, Thousands of people were there. He then said, "Oh people, this boy believes in this being called Allah. He says that Allah is his Rabb. And he says that Allah has no sharik, no partners. Whereas I claim to be the God. If you believe in me, I will spare your life. If you believe in Allah, as this young boy does, then I will also end your life just as I am ending his life." The king then took an arrow from the quiver of the boy and he recited the dua, Bismillahi Rabbi hadha al-ghulam, in the name of Allah, who is the Lord of this young boy, and he shot. And it struck him right here. The boy then fell and he died as a shaheed. All the people that were present there, they witnessed this and they proclaimed the shahada. They said, Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah, that we believe in Allah, who is one Allah, the true Rabb, who has no partners. The ministers said, "O king, this was a plan of the boy. He wanted you to summon everyone so that everyone could see how helpless you are and so that everyone could become Muslims and believers in Allah. What you have feared has, become. What you were fearing that people will believe in Allah has now materialized." He then ordered for trenches to be dug. So long and deep trenches were dug. And they had lit fire. They put wood in the bottom and they lit fire. They ignited fire. And the king gave an option that if you believe in Allah, we will throw you into the fire, into the pit, into the trench. If you believe in me, then I will spare your life. All those people, they were firm believers. They were strong believers in the oneness of Allah. They all sacrificed their lives. This is what Allah is saying here. قُتِلَ أَصْحَابُ الْأُخْدُودِ, ayah number 4 of this surah, Surah Al-Buruj. The companions, the people of the pit were killed. How? النَّارِ ذَاتِ الْوَقُودِ, fire filled with fuel. إِذْ هُمْ عَلَيْهَا قُعُودٌ, when the king and his minister were sitting, far from it. وَهُمْ عَلَى مَا يَفْعَلُونَ بِالْمُؤْمِنِينَ شُهُودٌ, and they were watching what they were doing with the believers. وَمَا نَقَمُوا مِنْهُمْ إِلَّا أَن يُؤْمِنُوا بِاللَّهِ الْعَزِيزِ الْحَمِيدِ. They only punished them because they believed in Allah. In other words, all of these thousands of people, their crime was what? That they believe in Allah. They had no other crime, no other offense they had committed. As the people were throwing themselves into the fire, there was a mother. Again, like how I said, I gave you the reference in Sahih Muslim. There was a mother who got afraid because she had a suckling child. She had a suckling child. She was nursing. And she was, going back, thinking twice that what about my child? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala allowed and made this child speak miraculously, wherein the child said, oh my mom, don't fear. Don't fear. Be patient. We will meet in Jannah. Don't fear. Be patient. And our meeting will be in Jannah. You see, there is one hadith wherein Rasulullah said that 3 individuals spoke in their infancy. One was that infant of the incident of Jurayj. I don't want to go into that, I don't have time. Jurayj was a rahib, a monk of Bani Israel. He was accused of zina, of adultery. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala exonerated him by making an infant talk. Number one. The second infant that spoke in his infancy was Isa alayhi salam, where they blamed and they accused Maryam of heinous sin, of a bad crime. he then spoke out and he said that I am the messenger of Allah, my mother is pure. And the third child that spoke in his infancy was this particular child, which Allah is making reference to in this surah. So, what we learn from this incident is that how the believers of the past, they were tested, and they had to go through trials. What we are experiencing today is also a test from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That is why we need to make dua to Allah. Tonight could be the last of Ramadan. We need to make dua, cry to Him that, oh Allah, you forgive us in this blessed month. You forgive our parents, our family, the entire Muslim Ummah, and you relieve the world from this crisis, that has afflicted us. So this is what we need to make dua for, remind ourselves of Allah and His mercy and His maghfirah, how forgiving Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is. I would just like to end my dars with showing appreciation to all of the listeners, to all the viewers, and especially to the organizers of this program. Those the board, the trustees who had given me this opportunity to speak before you, to share some, the word of Allah, the word of His Rasul. So I make dua to Allah that He gives you jaza'ul khair, the best reward for giving me this opportunity. He rewards you for your intentions, what you have heard. He enables you to practice on what you heard, and He enables me to practice what I said. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept our Ramadan. May Allah accept all the Taraweeh, all the Khatmul Quran, all the forms of ibadah we have done in this month, and may Allah give us life that we see the next Ramadan again. May Allah forgive us. May Allah accept us. Jazakumullahu khairan. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.